If this is you, sitting there wondering why she can slip into your mind so easily, while you can't seem to get even a fraction of that power back, then you're not alone. Maybe you've been trying to figure out why she feels distant, why she pulls back, why you can't stop thinking about her, even when she barely gives you anything to hold on to. Maybe this feels familiar. That quiet frustration where you want to understand what makes a woman stay mentally locked onto a man, but every time you try, it feels like you're the one chasing, you're the one overthinking, you're the one hoping she sees your worth without you having to beg for it. You've probably had nights where you replay every conversation, every text, every pause. You ask yourself, did I say the wrong thing? Did I seem too eager? Am I losing her? And deep down, there's that sting. Not because you want to control her, not because you want her obsessed with you for the wrong reasons, but because you want to finally feel like you matter in the equation. You want to walk into her mind the way she walks into yours, quietly, naturally, effortlessly, without ever chasing, without ever pleading for the affection that should have been mutual from the start. Maybe you've been that guy who gives more than he gets. Maybe you've been the one waiting for her to validate you. Maybe you've tried to be the good man, the patient man, the understanding man, only to end up feeling invisible. And somewhere inside, a voice keeps whispering, when is it my turn? When do I become the man she can't stop thinking about? And if you've ever wondered why some men enter a woman's mind and never leave, while others get forgotten instantly, what if the answer has nothing to do with what you say and everything to do with what you project? So let me ask you this. What if the real power isn't in trying to win her mind, but in becoming the man her mind can't ignore? Most men get this completely wrong because they think it's about chasing, impressing, or trying harder than anyone else. They believe that if they just text more, give more, or show more vulnerability, she'll finally stick around. That's not how it works. Women don't enter a man's mind and stay there because of desperation or neediness. They're drawn to presence, confidence, and the quiet power that doesn't ask for permission. If this feels harsh, it's only because it challenges everything you've been told about earning a woman's attention. Here's the truth. Your value isn't in how much you give, it's in how grounded you are in yourself. When you live from that place of calm authority, you become magnetic, not because you're trying to make her like you, but because you don't need her validation to feel complete. That's one core masculine principle most men overlook. Your power comes from self-possession, not from her approval. The second principle is this: attraction isn't created through chasing or logic. It's created through emotional contrast. Being the man who can hold his center, remain unavailable in a way that feels effortless, and make her feel curiosity and desire without manipulating her. Most men try to control her feelings, to fix the distance, or to fill the silence. That never works. Calm authority isn't loud or frantic. It's steady, deliberate, and rooted in knowing your worth without needing to prove it. So if you've been thinking the key is more effort, more attention, more waiting, let me tell you it's not. The key is knowing how to exist in a way that she can't stop thinking about you, without ever bending, begging, or losing yourself in the process. He's sitting alone on the edge of the city park, the evening light bleeding gold across the concrete. The laughter from the tables nearby reaches him in fragments, a soundtrack he can't touch. He remembers the way she looked that morning, the way her eyes seemed almost elsewhere. He runs the memory again in his head, searching for the moment he lost her attention, replaying every word like a broken record. Why didn't she stay? Why can't I hold her in my mind the way she occupies mine? The air smells faintly of rain and cut grass, and for a moment he closes his eyes and lets it fill him. There's a quiet ache in his chest, the same one that wakes him at night when he replays the texts he didn't send, the jokes he didn't make, the confidence he didn't show. He feels the urge to reach out, to bridge the silence, to beg for just a sliver of her thought. And then he stops. He remembers something a voice once told him. Presence is louder than pursuit. Power lies in calm, not in pleading. He exhales slowly and leans back, feeling the weight of himself solid, grounded, unshakable. For the first time, he allows the silence between them to speak, to carry its own weight. He realizes that attraction isn't something you force. It's something you embody. The streetlights flicker on one by one, casting shadows that stretch long across the asphalt. And in that stillness, he sees it, the magnetic truth. She will enter the mind of the man who does not chase, the man who does not bend, the man who carries himself with quiet certainty. He doesn't have to chase her. He only has to be the man she can't stop thinking about, even in silence. The night folds around him, and he finally feels the freedom of knowing this, that some things, once understood, change the way a man moves through the world forever. Most men believe that if they just try harder, text more, or show more feelings, she'll finally stick around. That's not true. The first wake up truth is this: she doesn't stay because you chase her. She stays because you exist with a magnetic presence she can't ignore. You've been sold the idea that effort equals attraction. But attraction is emotional gravity, not a to-do list. She didn't ghost you. You disappeared from yourself. The second false belief is that vulnerability means exposing every thought and feeling, hoping she'll value it. Vulnerability is not weakness, it's self-possession. A man who knows his worth doesn't need constant validation. He can express depth without bending to her emotions. Confidence isn't loud. It's quiet, deliberate, undeniable. And finally, many men think they must fix her or control her emotions to remain relevant in her mind. That's backwards. The truth is, her mind locks onto the man who doesn't need to fix anything, who can remain steady while she navigates her own thoughts. Emotional independence is magnetic. You are the storm she notices, not the umbrella she leans on. Stop trying to earn her attention. Stop confusing desperation for connection. The man she never forgets is the one who walks with certainty, speaks with calm authority, and lives fully in his own power. This isn't about manipulation. It's about presence, clarity, and the rare ability to enter her mind without losing yourself in the process. This is what the 1% Headman understands. He knows that attraction isn't earned through effort or approval. It's cultivated through presence, calm, and unshakable self-possession. While most men scramble for attention, try to fix distance, or over-explain themselves, he moves with a quiet authority that commands notice without demanding it. He doesn't plead for her thoughts or chase validation. He simply exists as a man worth thinking about. This is how he leads, with presence, not pressure. He holds his energy steady, even when she's unpredictable. He doesn't react to every shift in her mood. He allows the space between them to carry its own weight, knowing that mystery and self-containment are magnetic. He doesn't chase the outcome, because he's fully occupied with mastering himself, his vision, and his life. He understands the deeper truth that women are drawn to men who are emotionally anchored, not men who chase like storms of desperation. He knows that the power lies in being remembered for your energy, your consistency, your unwavering calms, not for the text you sent, the favors you did, or the approval you begged for. And because of this mindset, he doesn't just enter her mind. He stays there effortlessly, leaving a mark without ever compromising who he is. He's sitting alone, the quiet of his apartment heavy around him. The phone lies untouched on the table, the unread messages no longer pulling at his chest. For a moment, he lets himself feel the familiar ache, the longing, the doubt, the tiny voice that says he's not enough. And then, slowly, something shifts. He realizes he's been waiting for her to fill the space that only he can occupy. In that stillness, he remembers what it feels like to stand fully in himself, without apology, without leaning toward anyone for validation. The truth rises like sunlight through a cracked window. He doesn't need her to see his worth. He's always had it up. The tension in his shoulders eases, the knot in his stomach unwinds, and he feels the steady rhythm of his own life calling him back to center. He sees now that attraction is never about chasing, never about pleading. It's about being the man who can hold his world steady while she navigates hers. And in that clarity, he feels a rush of freedom, a quiet pride, the first flicker of a magnetic presence that doesn't demand, doesn't bend, doesn't beg. For the first time in a long time, he isn't waiting. He's Baza remembering who he already is, and in that remembering, he knows she will never forget him. She doesn't need to chase you. She doesn't need to validate you. What she feels, what she remembers, is drawn from the energy you carry, the calm, unshakable presence that doesn't plead, that doesn't bend, that doesn't apologize for existing. The moment you stop trying to earn her attention, the moment you stop giving pieces of yourself in hope she'll notice, you step into the space no one else can occupy. And in that space, you realize the truth every man must carry. The mind she never forgets is the one that never lost itself.